am Nat. I'll be your host for today for Recycling Week 2024 webinar series day 3. Now, hopefully you guys have been following along this week and have had the pleasure of seeing amazing speakers so far, and today is no different. We've got an awesome lineup that I cannot wait to hear more. So today we celebrate Reusable Wednesday. Today's focus is feeding from earlier in the week, where on Monday we looked at avoiding through a procurement lens, so avoiding waste by not buying it to start with. And then yesterday, Waste Free Tuesday, we're looking at waste in terms of what we throw out and seeing if we can reduce that. So today's focus is us choosing to keep materials in circulation for longer, and the way that we can do that is through reusing or repairing things before choosing to replace. The more we replace, the more waste we're generating. So the more we can keep materials in circularity for longer, the better it is for our planet. And today's daily focus is brought to us by Lumo. Lumo is a digital out-of-home company that has been supporting Recycling Week for many, many years. So we thank you, Lumo, and keep an eye out for our billboards around the country. And in terms of our speakers, I'm really excited to be introducing Brigitte and Adam today. They are from two organizations that do some awesome work in living the principle of Reusable Wednesday. So I think the Repair Network Aotearoa give itself away with their name, but they're obviously championing their repair principle, where solid oral care really embeds that mentality of reuse, refill, and keep things in circulation for longer. Now, I can't do it justice introducing them myself, but I'm sure that they will be able to share with you guys what they do best. So over to you, Brigitte.
Kia ora koutou, and thank you for including me in your wonderful Recycling Week. It's wonderful to be with you again this year. Yes, as you said, Repair Network Aotearoa, the name speaks for itself. So we are promoting reuse and repair, and hopefully no need to recycle if we choose the right product that's designed to be repairable as well. So this organization is about 3.5 years old, and we started with the grassroots level with what's called repair cafes, and probably most of you will have heard this term by now, or maybe even have visited a repair cafe. So what happens at repair cafes? There are pop-up events. They happen in the community where people come together and they help each other to fix broken household items. So this offers an opportunity to share skills and also create community resilience, learn something, and prevent waste from going to landfill. So this is a very strong arm of our organization. And so here you can see how Repair Cafe movement has evolved over the past few years. So we now have over 75 Repair Cafes all across the country, and they operate independently, but also interconnected with all the other Repair Cafes across the country as we develop this organization further and further, and just really introduce, reuse, repair, mend, and care. And that's what it's all about. We care about our belongings, each other, and the planet. As you can imagine, it's important to also collect data, so we evidence the work that we do. And so repair cafes that are associated with Repair Network Aotearoa, they have the opportunity to enter their data at the Restarters, which is a digital platform from the UK. And all this data also gets collected towards the International Repair Alliance data set. So here you can see, like in the last 18 months, we diverted 34 tons of waste going to landfill, and this was recorded by 51 repair cafes. So not everyone is on that page, but we train people and also encourage them and help them to collect the data. So this is pretty impressive. So on average, each repair cafe runs for about 2, 3, or 4 hours, and so about 75% of the items are actually repaired within that time. That is due to the dedication and skill, and commitment of the repairers. And as you know, the repair cafe visitors are also able to sit with the repairer. So that's the opportunity to absorb and learn and ask questions. And all this really fits beautifully in our waste hierarchy, from the Wednesday for the Environment, designed in March 2023, where we are on the second tier: reuse, repair, repurpose, with the intention to move up, to redesign, design products that are actually repairable. And so this contributes, to the awareness that people develop when they're at a repair cafe. So that can then also lead to behavior change. So people can choose to have products that are more durable and repairable. And one other important aspect is, of course, legislation. And as most of you will be aware, there is no right to repair legislation currently in New Zealand, whereas, of course, in Europe and the States, it has been going for 20 years, and they've made tremendous progress. But Network Aotearoa put together a petition in 2021, which then went to Parliament, also the Select Committee. And now the Green Party has the Consumer Guarantees Right to Repair Amendment Bill that was pulled from the ballot in April this year and is waiting for the first reading. We haven't got a date as yet. However, we are campaigning to support the bill by MPs, because this is not a government bill. So the majority of MPs will have to actually vote in favor of this bill. So if you go to our website, you will find a whole page on right to repair, which explains and gives you examples how this bill could be of benefit to Aotearoa. It's not perfect, but that's why we have the Select Committee, where it can sit for 6 months and be thoroughly examined, also with a period of time of submissions, which we will support. So this is a good opportunity. So I encourage you to go to the website if you haven't been already, and get some good arguments, and then meet with your local MP and encourage them to vote in favor of this bill. So all this mahi that has been going on really culminated in the Repair Festival this year. This is the first time we've ever run such amazing event, and we had 48 events happening, so all across the sectors. So since we started with Repair Cafe, of course, we also worked into the education and business sector and with council as well, and on the political side too. So we had repair cafes, repair workshops, demonstrations, also maintenance workshops. We featured some repairable products, had business tours and wonderful repair events and right to repair events as well, and webinars, which were very popular. So probably over 2,000 people participated, over that week in the events, and hundreds of volunteers as well. So this is something that we are considering doing on an annual basis. So we need to set some dates so all of you can register. So, and last week, in fact, we celebrated International Repair Day. That's the whole world, that celebrates repair. And that started with the first repair cafe in Amsterdam in 2009. So this is a celebration, and they in fact celebrated their 15th birthday, which was really wonderful. For us, that meant that we're running a summit again. This is the 4th year that we're running the summit, and we had representatives of all the different sectors. So this is right to repair, also education, universities and councils, and businesses and the community sector. So all these sectors were represented with cutting edge presentations. And if you're interested in listening to this, this is available on our YouTube channel, Repair Cafe Aotearoa. So what I'm sharing with you today is, and I'm really, really happy to be able to say that it looks like there is a movement that has been developing over the past few years, that people have, New Zealanders are tired of throwing stuff out. That's that's the bottom line, and they're looking for solutions. So repair cafes are very accessible and also inclusive, and you come in, as a volunteer, repair volunteer, or maybe you like to bake cakes and you offer this, or you like taking photos and you contribute to social media and so forth. Anyhow, so we've got the repair cafes, a very strong pillar, of the movement, which is now also all embraced by the Repair Network Aotearoa, a charitable trust. We are moving into the education sector, offering classes, at schools, also moving into universities, co-designing papers and so forth. And a lot of councils are very supportive of local initiatives, local repair initiatives. And we also have a presence at public libraries and resource recovery centers, of course. Repair businesses, we are very keen to support businesses that are already producing repairable products, which of them are actually quite a few here in New Zealand when you start looking, which is really exciting, as well as supporting businesses on the sustainability journey. So if they are interested, in introducing reuse and repair, we are very open, to support you on that journey. And then, of course, we include the legislation campaigning as well, all based on our Amahi is all based on Te Tiriti o Waitangi, so working towards a treaty partner. So in essence, I can only say I feel very privileged to be part of this, and also be witnessing, the energy that's there, the commitment, and the deep inner knowing, that we need to change, and it starts on a personal level, and repair and reuse is one option. So kia ora.
Thank you, Brigitte. How lovely. I mean, please, I've already got some questions, but everyone that has questions, please start popping them onto our Q&A function so we can ask at the end. But how impressive as well that you mentioned 75% of the materials that come through get fixed. And that cost element is obviously a key one, because, instead of replacing, and a lot of these items, like you've seen vacuum cleaners, toasters, all of that will cost a bit of money, and all it needs is a little new part. Just moving on straight. Thank you so much, Brigitte. We'll hear more from you when we have our Q&A. I'll now hand over to Adam. Adam, would you like to join us?
Kia ora te whānau, ngā mihi kia koutou. Ki te taha toko pāpā ko Ngāti Kahanunu ki te wāroa te iwi, no te maru ahau, e noho ana ahau ki tītahi, ko Adam McConnochie tōko ingoa. Hi everyone, I'm Adam and I'm from Solid, a toothpaste company that wants everyone to brush just a little bit better. So in late December 2016, my wife and I had our first baby. Laura was already a bit of a zero waster at the time, and she bought this big stack of reusable nappies. And I have very clear memories of changing nappies in the heat of that Auckland summer in this pokey little flat we had in Sandringham, with like our friends and whānau around all the time, and this screaming lovely wee baby. And I don't think I'm that unusual. I think that first tamariki is a crazy time when like lack of sleep and not knowing what you're doing combines with love and wonder at this new life, right? But I have such clear memories of the nappies because we just use so many of them, like 8 a day from every day for months on end. And I think for me, this was the moment where I realized how important our individual decisions are, because it was Laura's foresight and planning and getting those nappies in the first place. We just saved mountains of plastic from going to landfill. And it also sums up my own sustainable journey, which is essentially following along on the coattails of my clever wife. So a question for you. Did you know how many toothpastes we throw away every year? In Aotearoa, New Zealand, it's around 16 million, and worldwide it's about 1.5 billion. So it's quite a big problem. But for me, it's also really symptomatic of the challenge of the climate crisis, because if you're the average person and use 4 tubes a year, it's kind of easy to feel like that's not that big a deal. So what do we do? Because we all need to brush our teeth, right? So this picture here is of my aforementioned clever wife. She's a oral health therapist, dual trained to work in dental therapy and dental hygiene, and she's one of 3 oral care formulators in Aotearoa, and she designed and formulated all of our products. And when Laura was in the dental industry, she was just constantly frustrated by the amount of unnecessary waste we created, and was convinced that there was a better way. And this led her, and then later me, to focus on the question, if we were going to design toothpaste from scratch, what would it look like? So this was a packaging and formulation design challenge. Toothpaste tubes can't be turned back into a toothpaste tube, and in New Zealand they basically all go to landfill. There is one brand that will collect them and send them to the States to be downcycled, but they're not doing this in Australia anymore, and they appear to be rolling it back a little bit of support for this. So for us, a plastic toothpaste tube wasn't the answer, and the packaging had to change. And toothpaste, like most personal care products, has a high water content of about 40%, and this water is filler. The more water you add, the cheaper it is to produce. And because most personal care products are made overseas, millions of plastic bottles are filled with water, and they're shipped all around the world. So the formulation had to change. And our solution was to reduce the amount of water. There's none in our powders and tablets, and there's just 5% in our paste. But once because of the water, you need a plastic tube, and then you also need a whole bunch of preservatives and artificial flavors as well. So we use premium ingredients like xylitol and natural flavor oils. And because we don't have all the water, that our pastes are actually self-preserving, and it also makes them taste really good. So because of that, we only have 1/3 the ingredients of regular toothpaste. And for a lot of our customers, they actually don't suffer from reactions or allergies now when brushing their teeth. So, taking away all the filler in toothpaste and like other personal care products, it's more sustainable, but it also leads to a better product as well. For packaging, glass was an obvious solution, but we had to do more than hope people would just recycle our jars. As many of you will know, a lot of glass in New Zealand isn't recycled and it goes to landfill as well. And so for this meant designing a circular system that would see our jars either reused and, where did I go here? It meant seeing our jars reused by sending them back to us for sterilisation and reuse, or refilled by partnering with stores that have refill stations. So we now have 60 stores across the Motu that will receive our jars back, and we're getting about 15 to 20% of our jars back. And in addition, we're working with retailers to set up toothpaste refill stations across the Motu, and currently offer toothpaste tablet, and powder refills in about 30 stores. We see this as a good start, but we need to keep growing those numbers. But lastly, though, great design is only great design if people actually want to use it, right? And so we want our jars to elevate your bathroom and to make them look really great. And also by offering like different flavors and formats, like we do like a lemon toothpaste, a cinnamon toothpaste, an orange powder. We want to help you find an oral care solution that actually works for you as well. And this is really important because we have quite bad oral health outcomes in New Zealand. Only 40% of Kiwi 40% of Kiwi often report they don't go to the dentist because of the cost. So we need to develop a more healthy attitude towards brushing, which is especially important for our tamariki, of course, our children. And I guess for us, we want to move it from being like a chore and to be part of your self-care ritual, because your oral health is really important to your mental and physical well-being as well. But our proudest innovation, which you can see here on the slide in the middle, is our in-store toothpaste dispenser. It's a little bit of a strange brag, to be honest, but as far as we can tell, it's the first in-store toothpaste dispenser in the world, and we have 6 of these in different stores across the Motu, from Ōtepoti to Thames, and this is about as close as you can get to zero waste toothpaste. So just moving on slightly, the climate crisis requires big, bold change, right? And we see Solid's contribution to climate action as behaviour change. And so our vision is a world where we all take responsibility for what we consume and produce, and a world where people know that they can trust the companies they buy from, that their actions will make a difference, and that you can feel good about what you're doing, not guilty for what you are not doing. And we take this approach because we're a values-based business driven by kaitiakitanga, positivity, and innovation. And for us, positivity is celebrating and uplifting what people are doing to change their behavior. To use a dental example, because, of course, many of us, we feel quite a lot of anxiety going to the dentist. We can fear being told off for not flossing or for brushing incorrectly. And in our opinion, this doesn't encourage long-term positive change, and it doesn't encourage regular dental visits. And climate action is a little bit similar. Shaming people for having a petrol car, not bringing a keep cup, is less effective than celebrating what people are doing. And I really like the Anne-Marie Bonneau quote that we don't need a handful of people doing zero waste perfectly. We need millions of people doing it imperfectly. So if, through simple actions like returning your jar after you've finished so it can be refilled, or choosing a refill option at your eco store, what we think we're doing is we're building a community of people who are engaged in climate action. And our community is proud of their impact, and they like to share what they're doing to their friends and whānau. And slowly but surely, we're building this community out, right? We've built a community of people who are empowered by their own choices and committed to reuse and refill. And we're showing that your actions do matter, and that together we can achieve real change. And so far, we've saved over 100 collectively, and together we've saved over 150,000 toothpaste tubes from landfill. So let's ditch that true Aotearoa. Ngā mihi kia koutou, nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Thank you, Adam and Brigitte. This was very. Oh, there was one more slide.
Oh, sorry, I missed out some slides.
That's
Talking
all right.
Too fast.
No, that's all good. We'll just move on to our Q&A. But I just want to say before we start, it's lovely to see both earlier on this week we had consumer and eco label telling us about trusting, what it says in the package, and being able to trust where our products come from, as well as talking about the repairability bill, like the right to repair bill. So it's really interesting to kind of see the common theme coming across. And the quote that you shared is entirely appropriate, in the sense that it's best for all of us to be doing something towards making it better, as opposed to just trying to be perfect. So as I'm going to look at the Q&A, because I'm sure there's been a few questions pop up, I think both of you, I'll just lead in and ask a question myself. Both of you guys have touched on it, but I'd love to have your take, because while reuse, repair is really essential for the circular economy, you've both touched on the role that design plays. And I think, Adam, obviously Solid lives up to that design, where you've challenged the design piece. But how important is it, and I would like to hear from both of you, in getting companies to rethink the design when it comes to a waste outcome?
Kira, happy to go first. The answer is it's essential, right? That's the top of the hierarchy, is to rethink, to redesign. So currently we have products that are very poorly designed, and also designed for planned obsolescence, and maybe not last very long, and then end up in landfill far too early. So yes, it's an essential step that we all need to take, and government can support this as well with product stewardship. Kia ora.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think from our perspective, it's super important, because so many of our products aren't designed in a sustainable way, right? So I think it's the advantage of being a startup and being an entrepreneur, is that you can look at things a little bit differently. So yeah, encourage more people out there to kind of think about the ways that they can start things right from the start, just a little bit differently. Yeah.
Awesome. There's been a couple of questions on pricing for the toothpaste relative to the rest of the industry, and I'll let you just answer that maybe straight directly there, and also the sensitivity on our, so there's people with sensitive teeth, and how does that address? So less of a question, but a comment, that I really like my Solid toothpaste. I love the spearmint flavor. I tried the strawberry, but it seemed like an odd flavor when you use to mint. Thank you for that.
Yeah, Kate to play. We find strawberry works quite well with tamariki, getting them into their brushing early on. So on the cost, we aim to be the best toothpaste, not to be the cheapest toothpaste. And so, and we made it in New Zealand, of course. So we're not the cheapest. The thing I think to notice about ours is one of our jars is the same as 2 toothpaste tubes. So if you're buying one of our jars, you're saving 2 toothpaste tubes going to landfill, but it will also last you the same as 2 toothpaste tubes. So one of our jars is about a 3-month supply. So we are about, I think, 20-30% more expensive when you take it into a cost per use.
I think that probably leads me to another question that is always interesting to ask from both of you again, is that the role that, like, what's a key takeaway that someone as an individual, everyone in this call today, can take from the perspective of making more sustainable choices or developing more sustainable habits? Obviously, we already know that maybe attending a repair cafe or buying Solid, but is there a bigger focus that someone, or an easier step that someone can take?
I can start this one first, if you don't mind, Brigitte. I think for me, it's about finding the things that you can do and the things that you want to do. So I would love everyone out there to please go and buy Solid toothpaste, but I don't mind if you don't. If there's out there thinking about something that you can do that you're really passionate about. So for example, I buy Swap a Crate beer, because I know that one of those big beers goes around for like 8 years. The bottle goes around for 8 years. And I think that's so amazing. So that's something that I do, but there's other things that I'm like less perfect on, right? I was going on a walk the other day, and there's someone out there planting rat traps all around Titahi Bay to try and make it more predator free. And to be honest, that's probably not something I'm going to do, but that person loves it. He gets out, he does a massive walk, and he's doing something really cool, right? So I think my advice is not to try and be perfect and do everything, but find a few things that mean something to you and that you're passionate about, and do those things, right? And feel good about doing those things, and feel positive, and have some joy about those cool things you are doing.
That seems very easy. Thank you. Anything you want to add, Brigitte?
We have got this little saying, the greenest toaster you can have is the one you already have, right? So yeah, just treasure what you have and extend its life, and learn how to do this. And maintenance is actually a very important factor about this as well. Often it just needs a good clean, so all the pipes can kind of like clear again, these kind of things. So yeah, just have a relationship with your belongings. I guess that would be my tip.
Absolutely. Prevention is the best strategy, right? We've got a couple more questions. Brigitte, for you, for the repair cafes, do you have set experts for different products? For like IT, appliances, here we've got EV vehicles. I don't know if that's an expert that you have, but...
Yeah, thanks for the question. Yes, we attend to household items that we can carry into the repair cafe. So these are kind of the items that we are able to look at. And yes, we do have experts for each different section, like people who can fix woodworks, wooden items or electronics, especially electrical appliances. So we have registered electricians there, which is actually legally required. Yeah, and lots of people who can mend, But we also offer mentoring, so this is an educational and an intergenerational and a learning experience where we share expertise. I hope that answers your question.
I'm sure it does. And then Adam, can you use electric toothbrush with the toothpaste tablets?
Yes, of course you can.
Easy. Alrighty, well, we've just got to 12:30 and I think we've answered most of the questions. I just want to say a huge thanks to both Adam and Brigitte for sharing your knowledge. I've really enjoyed both of your sections, and I'm very inspired to take all my broken things to get fixed, and I'm already a solid user, so you don't have to sell it to me. But I also want to thank everyone that has attended today. Go out there and live up reusable and repairable Wednesday. And I look forward to seeing you all here back tomorrow for Rinse and Clean Thursday. So thank you so much and see you then.
Thank you, everyone.